Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm Evan O'Regan.
I'm Aaron Saray.
Let's see what we have in store for this Tuesday edition. We have a developing low-pressure system over the center of the country right now that'll bring plenty of winter weather and severe weather to much of the country.
And again, those will bring those winter storm alerts from about Wichita, Kansas, all the way up into Chicago.
That's right. And alongside the southern part of that storm is a severe weather potential for places like Texas and Oklahoma City going into tomorrow.
And tonight's headlines: developing low pressure to bring winter weather and severe weather across much of the area, and much more on FSU Weather.
That's right. So let's kick things off on this Tuesday edition of FSU Weather. We have right now over a look at Doak Campbell Stadium. That sun is beginning to set along with those minor clouds out there, nothing crazy. 65 degrees, a little bit cooler than we saw a few minutes ago. Partly cloudy skies with an east wind at 6 miles an hour. Generally across much of the area, it's been a really beautiful day. We have middle 60s across much of the area, plenty of sunshine out there today, so it was a great day to get outside and enjoy the great outdoors. With those nice cool dew points as well, it felt pretty comfortable outside as well. So not much to see on our local radar right now, mostly cloud-free, which is always good news. And as for tonight's forecast, we have generally upper 40s for much of the area, maybe some mid-50s by the time we get to the shoreline with those winds coming off the shore. It's a little bit warmer there. And as for tomorrow, generally sitting in the upper 70s, maybe even touching 80 in southern Georgia. But warmer temperatures will end the week. Cold front will bring cooler temperatures this weekend, and we have that nationwide winter and severe weather for the country. So let's throw things over to Aaron at the desk.
Thanks, Evan. And really the top story tonight for much of the country will be that winter weather, especially for portions of the northern plains. And of course, the severe weather threat does extend all the way down to much places like Oklahoma up into about Texas. And so really, if you are in those areas, you do have to make sure that you are weather aware of those areas as well, as it could bring some damaging winds, tornadoes possible as well, and some flooding. So if you are in the Oklahoma all the way up to even places like Tallahassee as well, possibly as we get into Thursday night into Friday, might even see some severe weather here as well. So don't be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder out there, and of course bring those umbrellas as well. And you'll see that more on the forecast coming up as well, with the chance for some severe weather across Tallahassee. But now I'll go over to the wall to explain more about our severe weather across Tallahassee. Again, with that developing low forming in the plains, which will bring that severe weather across the area. So again, here's that area of low pressure I was mentioning about that will develop across much of the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles, and also move up to the northeast. Of course, on the southern end, you will see that severe weather threat, possibly for places like the south central United States, all the way up to even to like places like Tallahassee and up to Atlanta. And then, of course, off to the north, we'll see that snow potentially, and of course some ice as well, places like St. Louis and along that line where that low pressure will follow. We'll see the potential for some ice as well, so make sure to watch out if you're heading out the roads there. Our dew points right now across much of the southeast is pretty dry. We see in 30s and 20s across much of the Atlanta, Tallahassee, and up to even to Memphis in those 30s and 20s. So that's pretty dry, and that really made for a really good weather today if you were out the door here in Tallahassee with the sunshine and minimal cloud cover as well, with almost full abundant sunshine. But of course, we'll have that nose coming up from the Gulf of Mexico up ahead of that cold front. Places like San Antonio up into Dallas, Fort Worth, might see those dew points go up, and as again, the cold front will bring some of that southerly flow from invecting from the Gulf. And again, here, the next 48 hours, we'll see that warm nose forming off from the Gulf of Mexico ahead of that developing area of low pressure off into Oklahoma. And here's that dry line that's making its way over towards the coast. And again, that cold front will begin to push into places like Louisiana and Mississippi as we get into about Thursday evening. And again, that severe weather threat potential is across today, or at least tomorrow, is across Oklahoma over to Dallas, Fort Worth, and places like Joplin as well could even see some, at least they're in the marginal risk of severe weather, but again, they could easily see maybe an isolated tornado possible over there, so do keep in mind. And of course, not just tornadoes, also damaging winds possible as this line does begin to form and push off towards the east. So even Little Rock as well may even get to some as well as we get into Wednesday night and down to Shreveport as well. And this may extend a little bit further down to the coast as we get, or in the central Gulf Coast, I should say, so places like Mobile as well may get some of those storm threats. And here's on Thursday, that severe weather threat does move its way a little bit off to the south and the east, bringing in some of that severe weather potential for places like Jackson, Birmingham, all the way up to Memphis with that slight risk possible. And really approaching the Florida Panhandle here, so places like Pensacola under a marginal risk, and Tallahassee is on the fringe of that marginal risk as well, but that severe release here locally looks like to come in about Thursday night and a Friday. The next 48-hour temperature, see those temperatures warming up right ahead of the cold front, those showers beginning to coming in from the Gulf. So places like Fort Worth over to Shreveport, right where this cold front was beginning to form. There's a snow up in places like Oklahoma over to Kansas, and that severe weather threat will extend down to the Gulf Coast. This is about Thursday evening, about 48 hours from now. We'll see that line moving through places like central Louisiana over towards New Orleans, up into Jackson, Mississippi, up into Tennessee as well. Jackson, Mississippi, we'll see that severe weather coming in on Thursday. So stormy weather on Thursday with a high of 77. But look at that temperature drop down to 33 degrees behind the cold front. So the grass is greener on the other side if you are in Jackson, Mississippi, with that sunshine coming out there on Friday at 52 degrees. So it will really be a very nice day across Jackson, Mississippi. So if you're heading out the door again, Thursday will be the severe weather day, and Friday will be the nicer day. And it also might need to bring those jackets out too that you might have buried, of course, with the winter weather gone now, but it will come back, looks like Friday morning, as we may see those temperatures going down to near freezing.
That's right. Well, fortunately, in the Tallahassee area, we won't see those winter jackets being brought out anytime soon. We have warmer weather on the way starting tomorrow, but I'll detail that more as we get later into the segment here. But starting out again over Doak Campbell Stadium, that sun is starting to set. Over the stadium right now, currently 65, partly cloudy, so same temperatures as the last time we checked, but that sun is beginning to set there over the stadium. We were right about average for our high temperature day. We got up to 69, so we flirted with 70. Didn't quite get there. We will get there tomorrow and the day after, but again, I'll detail that more in the 7-day. But we did start out at a chilly 29 degrees at the airport this morning, so it was a morning that we did need our winter jackets. But the good news is we won't need those much for the foreseeable future. As we said, we started out quite chilly this morning, around freezing, but we did work our way up towards that 70-degree mark by the time we got to this afternoon. So it was another great day to get outside and enjoy the outdoors today. Currently around the area, still sitting in the middle 60s across much of the viewing area, lower 60s in southern Georgia. Same thing down towards the coast at Apalachicola, sitting at 62 right now. Current dew points are also very low, so it was a nice comfy day out there. It wasn't humid at all, so it felt great to be outside today. Currently sitting at 39 on the dew point monitor in Tallahassee, 40 in Monticello, 41 in Quincy, so still very low and very comfortable out there. And because those dew points are so low and so dry, we don't have anything on the radar to show you right now. That will change as we get into Thursday night into Friday. But for now, we won't see anything on our future radar either. Some clouds may try and work their way in from the east overnight tonight into the day tomorrow. But again, much of the same story as today. A little bit more cloud cover by the time we get to maybe this time tomorrow. But again, another great day to get outside. And we'll be about 10 degrees warmer than we were today. And part of that is due to our much higher low temperature that we have tonight, only sitting around the upper 40s and even mid 50s by the time we get down to the shoreline, and Apalachicola sitting at 55. But so because of that, we have a high launching pad, if I can speak English. We have that high launching pad for tomorrow, and we'll get up near 80 degrees in some places. Valdosta forecast getting up to the 80-degree mark tomorrow, maybe a little bit cooler down the shore, sitting in the upper 60s with that marine effect in around Carabel and Apalachicola there. Tonight we also do have Clemson versus Florida State at the Tuck. We'll be cooler as we work our way through the game, almost a 10-degree temperature drop by the time we get to the end of the game. So maybe bring a light jacket, a little sweatshirt to get you through that as well. And as we go through tonight, if you're planning on going out again, might want to bring that jacket with you. It will be a little bit chilly, around 50. And there's our almost severe weather day on Thursday night into Friday, but we will be warming up back near 80 degrees by the time we get to this time next week. So as Aaron said, that grass is greener on the other side. So now I'll pass him off for the weekly planner.
That grass certainly is green on the other side there, Evan. And the weekly planner, and across much of the nation, we'll see that cold front coming in for the northern half of the nation. So tomorrow's highs, we'll see 30s and even teens up into places like Bismarck and Minneapolis at 27. But down in the southeast where we're at, in our neck of the woods, we'll see upper 70s tomorrow in Tallahassee. And as Evan was mentioning, we actually will be flirting with 80 degrees. So if you are enjoying the day today, you might enjoy it more tomorrow, especially if you do like that warmer weather. And along the west coast, we'll see those 60s, so 63 in San Francisco and 65 in Los Angeles, and certainly a break considering after near the Super Bowl last weekend, we had temperatures in the 80s, and of course with that wildfire risk as well. Thursday's highs, we'll see those temperatures beginning to drop as we go to places like Dallas-Fort Worth, around 60 degrees with wind picking up out of the north and west from that cold front. And in the southeast, we'll see that warming trend, especially across places like the Florida Peninsula, places like Tampa, Orlando, down in Miami will probably be in the 80s, and again, we're going to be flirting with 80 as well tomorrow. Friday's highs, we'll see that cooler, more milder weather moving its way over towards our area. So we'll see temperatures on Friday going a little bit back down into the 70s as we might have the more cloud cover, more rain after that cold front passes by. But again, down by Miami, they are still down in the 80s. Our Saturday high temperatures, we will see that temperatures still pretty cold across especially much places like the upper Midwest. So 28 in Minneapolis, into the 20s, much of the Great Lakes. And we'll see 40s, of course, up in New England. Sunday's highs, we'll see those milder temperatures across the southeast. We will be in the low 70s. So certainly want to, of course, maybe bring that jacket as well if you're heading out there, but especially at nighttime. But of course, we'll see how that goes on. But now I'm passing things over to Evan.
That's right, and I'm going to take you guys through a little lifestyle here as we take a look again at our sports forecast for the basketball game tonight against Clemson. Hopefully we can scratch out a win. It's been quite a while since we've gotten a win here, so hopefully we can change that trend against our rivals, against Clemson, the Tigers. Starting out at 60 degrees around tip-off, but temperatures will cool down quite significantly throughout much of the game, sitting at 53 by the time you head home. So if you're planning on going out to the game and supporting the Noles, it might be a good idea to bring a sweatshirt with you, maybe a light jacket for your ride home, because it will be a little bit on the chilly side out there. Same thing if you're planning on going out after the game. Around midnight, it'll be around 50 and dropping through the 40s by the time you get to 3 o'clock this morning. Tomorrow morning. So we might need a little bit of another layer or so there. As for airport delays, none likely around Tallahassee, and that is a similar story around much of the country as well, although with our next storm system that may change, especially for places that are dealing with that winter weather, so places like Oklahoma City with the severe weather, and then onto Chicago and Detroit dealing with that winter weather. So those airport delays may change around your area by the time we get later in the week. As for Tallahassee, the next 3 days, looking absolutely gorgeous for tomorrow and Thursday, sitting in the middle to upper 70s and plenty of sunshine. It will be a little bit more humid as we go throughout the week as well, and that'll lead to our shower chance on Friday morning, also on Thursday evening, with only a low of 65 on Thursday evening. So we'll have to watch those storms as they roll in from places like Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana, affecting those places tomorrow and Thursday. But with that injection of moisture, we will have that shower chance on Friday morning as well. But still sitting at 75 on Friday there as well. And we also have a FSU away basketball game against number 9 ranked Duke on Saturday evening. If you are planning on going up to Duke in North Carolina, it will be 48 on the thermometer at Duke. Hopefully we can scratch out a win against Duke. We did at the Tuck a few weeks ago, but since then we've had to deal with injuries, and things have really not gone our way here for the FSU basketball team. But hopefully we can scratch out a win against number 9 Duke. That would be pretty incredible if we can do that and really change things for the better here as we go into work our way towards March Madness. Maybe we'll get into the tournament. Aaron, what do you think? Are we going to get a shot at that tournament?
I hope so. I'll certainly root on the Noles this weekend for that basketball game there. But to take things a little bit closer to home with our secondary local forecast, we will see a very beautiful sunset behind Doak Campbell Stadium right there with those oranges and purples and oranges, of course, currently sitting at 65 degrees. So right now is a wonderful time to perhaps go out for a walk right now or a bike ride around Tallahassee. In our temperature almanac for today, we did start actually pretty cold, down to 29 degrees at the airport, but we did gradually warm up to about 69 degrees today, so we just nearly hit 70 today, but we'll probably add another 10 degrees almost tomorrow to those temperatures as we see close to 80 degrees tomorrow. And it's actually a fairly average day in terms of the high temperature today, but of course, we were about 10 degrees or 15 degrees or so lower than our average temperature for this time of year. And our current local temperatures right now across the area are in the middle 60s, so 65 in Tallahassee, down to 62, I should say, in Thomasville. And we do have some lower to mid 60s as well down the coast, so Apalachicola down to 62 as well. Our current dew points are pretty dry across much of the Big Bend, and really that has to do with the lack of that moisture we yet see, of course, as we'll get into places like tomorrow, or into tomorrow and onward into Fridays ahead of that cold front as well. We start seeing those temperatures advecting from the Gulf of Mexico. And our local radar shows not really much going on the radar right now. Those clouds covers, again, away from the area, no showers, as you saw that beautiful sunset at Doak. And a future radar does show maybe a cloud or two in the sky tomorrow, but a very futuresque day tomorrow, and we might see a few showers, perhaps. And that's a very big perhaps as well on Wednesday evening, as we do see a little bit more moisture filtering into the area. And if you are heading out to the Clemson at Florida State game tonight at 7 p.m., a tip-off will be at 60 degrees. We're down to about 53 degrees by the time the game ends at around 9 o'clock when you're on your way back home. And our dog walk forecast does show those 50s quickly getting into those 70s tomorrow, again under very beautiful skies. And tonight in Tallahassee, we're about 10 degrees or so warmer than we were, or actually almost 20 degrees warmer than we were last night at 47 degrees as our low temperature under very partly cloudy skies, so might need that jacket once more. And tomorrow, 77. We are, as Evan mentioned before, we are flirting with really with 80 degrees across the air. In the week ahead, we do see that cold front coming in this weekend, but as always, the grass is green on the other side with those temperatures down to about 66 degrees and low temperatures in the 40s.
That's right. The grass really does grow greener on the other side, especially because we have almost 80 degrees by the time we get to next Tuesday. But now I'm going to give you guys an update on that major storm that will be affecting much of the country by the time we get to tomorrow and into Thursday. So big picture right now, pretty quiet across much of the country, a little bit chilly across our northern tier, sitting at 24 in Detroit, 25 in Boston, so chilly there, but nice and warm across the south, 70s in Texas, 60s in Los Angeles, so we're cooler there, so our little mini heat wave has ended thanks to that high pressure moving out of that area. But we will have to watch as this next storm system. And around much of the northern tier of the country, we have some slight snow showers around International Falls, same thing around Marquette, sitting in the teens there. We also have some light snow showers in the Rocky Mountains, say Idaho Falls, and also Billings at this hour, sitting in the low to mid 30s there. And we also have, looking at the desert southwest, some snow showers, maybe even some rain showers as well. Places like Cedar City sitting in the mid 50s right now, Salt Lake City also sitting at 46 right now. As we slide further to the south, really in the desert southwest, Yuma sitting in the middle 70s right now. Some showers in the mountains of California, sitting at 61 in Los Angeles, upper 50s near 60 in Oceanside as well. So all of that is associated with our developing low pressure system. All those little light showers is associated with this developing low that'll really set the stage for this big storm, big snow and severe weather storm that we have working its way across much of the eastern half of the country by the time we get to Wednesday through Friday here. It will cover almost 1,000 miles by the time everything is said and done. So a wide part of the country, a wide swath of the country will be dealing with this storm right now. And that snow that is expected with this storm will really fill in some of the areas that don't have any snow right now. Places like eastern Kansas, also working through Missouri, also in Chicago dealing with a little bit of a snow deficit right there. So by the time we get to the weekend, we'll have plenty more to show on this snow cover map as we work towards there. And here goes that storm system working its way on future radar. You can see down by the south that injection of moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico colliding with that colder air, and that'll really bomb out and give you that big snowstorm that we've been talking about here. And another danger with this is that pink coloring there. That's a mixture of rain and snow and maybe some ice as well. So we'll have to monitor that carefully, and make sure you stay with us on FSU weather throughout the week here, and we'll keep you guys updated on this, because this is not going to be just a run-of-the-mill storm. This is going to be a significant storm in terms of snow and also severe weather. And here is that snowfall forecast according to the GFS. It's a little bit more bullish than the Euro model, which I'll show in a second. But places like Kansas City getting absolutely clobbered, maybe over a foot of snow. Also in Chicago, maybe 8 to 10 inches of snow. Also Detroit approaching a foot of snowfall as well. And also some of that snowfall working towards Syracuse as well. And here's the Euro, a little bit more conservative. Kansas City still picking up about 8 to 10 inches of snow. Chicago maybe picking up about 5. Similar story in Detroit to Kansas City, maybe about 8 to 10. Same story for Syracuse, though, maybe about 3 to 5 inches there. So plenty of snow to deal with this storm. And we do have those winter storm alerts out right now across the Rockies and the western part of the country in Montana. We're dealing with winter weather advisories right now. And as we zoom into our storm area here, we have that winter storm watch for places like Wichita, Kansas, all the way up to Kansas City, extending to places like Chicago, and that will eventually work their way towards Detroit as well. So we'll have to watch as that progresses there. As for Kansas City, here's your 3-day forecast. Quite a change from tomorrow, high of 67, dropping all the way down to 4 degrees by the time we get to Thursday night into Friday. So quite a change with that snowstorm. So hopefully on Friday we'll be able to melt some of that snow with a high temperature of 40 there. And similar story in Detroit, quite breezy tomorrow with that rain and snow coming in for Thursday and a drop all the way down to 11 by the time we get to Thursday night and Friday. So Aaron, what do you think? I don't really want to be dealing with that snow around here, but places like Detroit and Chicago might need that snow.
Well, that's a good thing to live in Florida, right? And of course, as a good segment into that, we were talking about the Northeast, which will see some impacts from this potentially developing a storm system across the Rockies. So eventually that storm system will move its way up to about the New England area. But right now, the current snowfall does show a lot of, actually the New England is underneath at least some snow, from about a trace up to possibly like even 2 feet of snow. Look at that by places like New Hampshire, up to 2 feet right now covered in snow. Our current temperatures across here are cold, of course, if you are from the southeast. But it is currently sitting at 24 degrees in Albany, 22 in Portland, and look at that, 7 degrees up in Caribou near the Canadian border. So certainly chilly right now across New England. And our northeast radar does show the generally clearing skies right now across the area, of course, before the storm does come in. We do see that snowfall actually already developing across places like the upper peninsula of Michigan, but those will eventually slide in to the north. And a little bit closer look at upstate New York, it is right now currently very clear across much of the area. You can see as the sun does set, might see a few clouds in places like the Finger Lakes over towards Albany and over towards Buffalo, New York, with some light cloud cover. And our future radar does show that warm up a little bit as we get ahead of that front. So we'll actually see temperatures in the 40s before that snow does begin to come in here. But then we do have that ice coming in places like Albany as well, and New York will be in the 50s. So 50s along much of the coast, of course, with that wind threat as well. So places like Cape Cod over towards New York is actually under a high wind advisory right now. So make sure you do potentially cap that boating, of course, if you're heading out that, at least in that day. The GFS forecast does show that snow looks like to stay pretty much in the far northern sections of the New England area. So maybe off to the northwest of Burlington. Maybe you might see perhaps under a foot of snow possible. And the European model is has a little bit less snow right now. And we're seeing possibly about 1 to 3 inches of snow for upstate New York, maybe sneaking in close to about a foot up into Canada. And for Buffalo, New York, the temperatures again are going to climb up and then drop. So look at that, about a 30-degree difference between Wednesday night into Thursday night. And then, of course, we're going to drop down once we get behind that cold front. And temperature, again, below freezing the entire day over there. So not my cup of tea. And our tonight's lows are pretty much cold across much of New England. We'll see those warmer temperatures off to the western part of the region. But we will see those temperatures as well, cooler off towards Maine as well. Tomorrow's highs, we'll see those temperatures climbing up into the 20s and 30s up in the northeastern parts of the New England, and then down towards places like upstate New York and Syracuse and Albany, and down to New York, we'll see temperatures in the 40s. And then, of course, we'll see those warmer temperatures down places like Pittsburgh and Harrisburg down in the 40s and 50s. Burlington, Vermont does show those temperatures actually dropping pretty close down to near 7 degrees. So make sure you have that jacket handy for that day. But of course, we will begin to warm up as we get to the rest of the week until possibly another cold front comes in as we get into Monday and Tuesday, with temperatures rebounding to about the low to mid 40s over there. So I don't know about you, Evan, but I am very not a fan of the cold weather. So
yeah, I think you said it perfectly. It's not my cup of tea either. I think pretty thankful to be here in Tallahassee with that warmer weather. But again, let's run through that quick storm setup here. We have that big swath of snow extending from places like Oklahoma City all the way through places in extreme upstate New York, all the way through Quebec, Canada. So We also have that severe threat for the southeast, and that storm track will cover 1,000 miles about by the time all things are said and done. We do have that winter storm watch for places like Wichita, Kansas, extending all the way through Chicago, and we also have that severe weather threat tomorrow for places like Oklahoma City and Dallas in that slight risk, and that will slide slightly eastward by the time it gets to Thursday. Jackson, Mississippi, you guys are under the gun for Thursday. As for the next 60 hours here on the future radar, you can see that developing storm system. There's an injection of moisture colliding with that colder air, and that will set up that stage for that big storm that we have covering that winter weather and severe weather by the time we get to tomorrow and Thursday. Tonight in Tallahassee, working their way through the 50s and 40s by the time we get to 3 o'clock this morning. And as for 3 days from now, we have those middle 70s by the time we get to Friday with those storms coming in for Friday night. So, Aaron, what do you think? I think we'll have a good amount of storms for Thursday night into Friday.
We'll sure have to see what the computer models do spit out for that as we get closer to Friday, of course. So make sure keep in mind that, and as well stick with us here at FSU Weather throughout the week. But one last look at our local close. We'll see a beautiful sunset, or what was a sunset behind Oak Campbell Stadium not too long ago. Currently sitting at 65 degrees under partly cloudy, or really pretty clear skies across much of the Tallahassee area. And our current local temperatures do show those 60s, and even like about 59 degrees in St. Mark's as well. It's a little bit cooler, possibly along Appalachia Bay, and then of course down to Apalachicola, also at 57 degrees. But really, as you go further to the north and the south, away from that heat island effect of the metro area, we'll see those temperatures dropping as well. Our local radar, I should say, is pretty dry across much of the Big Bend and Panhandle of Florida. Not a cloud in the sky either, as you did see from that really nice shot out of Doak. And for the future radar, we will see those clouds beginning to filter in throughout much of the area as we come in to that. But across much of the week, we'll see those temperatures almost like a roller coaster, but certainly not as much as we've seen in past weeks. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a very nice weekend after that cold front does pass.
That's right. And I think even though that cold front will come in and drop our temperatures briefly by the time we get to, say, Thursday night into Friday, maybe for the weekend in the middle 60s, the grass is greener on the other side. By this time next week, we'll be in the 80s. So quite a change.
I hope my grass is certainly green on the other side, because honestly, with that binding umbrella course this weekend with that cold front coming in, but hopefully we won't see too much in the way of severe weather. We'll definitely have to see what those cold fronts come, or what the computer models, I should say, come out with, because of course that is still up on there.
That's right. So make sure in the meantime you guys follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather.
Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
And if you guys aren't already, we stream live on YouTube. You guys can watch us there at FSU Weather.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather.
That's right. And we also want to see your pictures, maybe for our dog walk forecast. We can have you guys featured for that. But in the meantime, also make sure that you guys are ready for that severe weather in Tallahassee. Right now we are at a 1 out of 5 on that severe risk scale at a marginal risk. But we'll have to see as time progresses here how much that severe weather we'll get.
But just remember, the grass is always growing on the other side this weekend as we come through this weekend with that cold front coming in, and of course those nicer temperatures. So that's all we have time we have today at FSU Weather. I'm Aaron Saray.
I'm Student Meteorologist Evan O'Regan.
Have a great night.